Hey, this is Michael, co-host of the Hellbound Podcast, or am I actually a Michael Chan doppelganger, as they've been called since the very beginning? I want to ask you all a question. What if this entire time you have been following the adventures of a Michael Chan doppelganger as he drags the prime Michael Chan, as he's called, as he drags the prime Michael Chan's friends all over the world, killing other Michael Chan doppelgangers and fighting, well, monsters. Now, you might ask, why would a Michael Chan doppelganger kill other Michael Chan doppelgangers? Aren't we all on the same side? And why would a Michael Chan doppelganger fight a well monster? Well, about the well monster, the Earth is Michael Chan's planet. Doppelganger or not, and Michael Chan will always defend the Earth. As for Michael Chan doppelgangers, do you really expect all Michael Chan doppelgangers to get along? Do you really expect a sparkly Michael Chan vampire to get along with an abtastic werewolf Michael Chan? I think not. Now, Alex Blackburn will never know if he's co-hosting this show with Michael Chan or Michael Chan. And neither will you, dear listener. So I'm just going to leave you guessing.
So welcome to episode 18 of the Hellbound Podcast, hosted by myself, Alex Blackburn, the founder of and co-creator of the Hellbound Horror Festival and the Isolation Film Festival, which is coming to a close this year. There's going to be a few announcements about that. We're not having the festival this year, but we are having the Hellbound Festival, and that starts at the 1st of August. So please get your film submitted. And I'm also joined by my amazing co-host and Star Trek canonized Starfleet officer Michael Chan. How are you doing, Michael?
That's right. I am C-list actor Michael Chan. You can watch me on Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 8. I am an official bona fide Starfleet officer. If you ever have any questions about Starfleet or about Star Trek, definitely ask me in the comments on our social media. Happy to answer, if I'm allowed to. That's right. Starfleet secrets.
Yeah, that's definitely something I kind of mentioned, highlighted before. That I want to ask you about the technical aspects and production, but we'll do that at some other point. I think we'll find a moment to do that. Yeah,
one of these days.
The first thing I wanted to talk about is it's Black History Month, and I saw my Instagram feed. Someone was celebrating Black History Month by highlighting some great performances in cinema by Black leading actors. And the four that I was recommended, or that was in my feed, it was Morgan Freeman in Seven, Wesley Snipes in Blade, Tony Todd in Candyman, and Duane Jones in Night of the Living Dead. Four performances, which is fantastic. I know they're all men, but they're four for me that really hit home and how good their performances are. And especially Duane Jones in Night of the Living Dead, because if you watch that film, it really hits home because it's not necessarily because they think he's a zombie at the end. I think he gets killed at the end of the film, as I remember. But because, I think the people are shooting him because he's black at the end of that film. But yeah, four standout performances in cinema to celebrate Black History Month.
Since we are a horror podcast, I'd recommend, if you haven't already, check out anything by Jordan Peele, who makes really good horror films. Also, check out the TV show Lovecraft Country, which is a Lovecraftian cosmic horror, but starring a black lead. And also, on a non-horror tangent, watch Watchmen, the TV show. There's a black lead in that as well. Oh, right, and watch Star Trek Discovery for the first ever black female captain, Captain Michael Burnham.
Yeah, I think she kicks ass, and I actually think are you in the third season? Is that right?
Fourth.
I think the third season for me is where my reservations about her character kind of were dispelled, and I think she had more breathing room to really perform.
She did. I think anyone who like over criticizes Discovery on its first 2 seasons has to remember that all the other Star Trek shows, let's forget about the original series for a second. All the other Star Trek shows struggle in their first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I remember because I grew up with the Next Generation, and people complain, and mind you, there was no internet, but people complain, oh, I hate this is not Star Trek. And nowadays it's like everyone's favorite, that or the original series. And then Deep Space Nine comes out, oh, what is this? It's a space station. Now everyone loves it. Voyager comes out, oh my god, what is this? And even Enterprise, this is not Star Trek. Now everyone loves it because oh no, Discovery is here, and everyone's like, no, dude. Yeah. It took 2 seasons, as every other Star Trek show has done, to get itself off the ground and get its legs. And now 3rd season, it really took off. It has its own, finally found its voice, and it has been amazing since. Not that the first 2 seasons aren't good. There are issues though. But yeah, 3rd and then now 4th is just mind-blowingly good.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's the reason it's so good, Michael. Something else I wanted to bring up was I went through a real kind of scary moment, and almost this. It reminded me of the film Cujo, and the original story written by Stephen King. I'll hopefully make this a concise, short story. But I was stepping outside the house with Frida, my little dog, and on my left I could see 2 of my neighbors. They have 2 dogs, and one's a German Shepherd, one's let's say a Dalmatian, but it's a big dog. But one of them's a German Shepherd, a poorly trained German Shepherd dog, which is a big guard dog. Mm-hmm. And I turn right. I say hi to them. I turn right, and to go further, the complete opposite direction. And I could see Frida, my little dog, turning and trying to go towards the other dogs. The other dogs are barking. Classic moment. But Frida doesn't do this with any other dog on the street. There's about 6 or 7 other dogs on this street. There's 25 houses. And I walked down the road, and I can feel this beast running towards me. I can hear it. You can always hear something running towards you, no matter how big or small. So I turn, and this dog leaps past me and starts attacking Frida, and then they're having this fight. God. And Frida's tiny compared to this German Shepherd. And I thought, right, I'll try and pull her away. And then eventually I pick up Frida, and she's barking at me, this huge dog, and I start to walk away. The owner comes up, apologizing profusely. What happened was she was pulled over by this huge dog, and obviously, couldn't go with it. So she tried to grab the dog again. I picked up Frida and I walked down the road, put Frida on the ground, and then I turned around to where the dog was then, and the dog had pulled her over again. I thought, right, I'm going to pick Frida up now and then just keep walking. Just keep walking until I disappear. And then this huge German Shepherd jumps up at me and starts biting like an alligator.
Oh, my God.
And not at me, but like close to me where the dog's brushing up against me and biting towards my little dog.
Yeah.
And I keep turning and saying, no. And I thought, right, I'm going to give this 5 or 6 more seconds. I'm going to have to get physical or kick this dog or something, to get it away. Because it was really quite violent. Like, it was foaming at the mouth. It was really violent. And then the owner came up and put the lead around the dog again, because they didn't have a lead on the dog. The first time. And then the second time, I thought, where's the lead around its neck? And they hadn't put it back on. So it was a shit situation, really. And I never really want that to happen, especially if it's a young child or someone that's not anticipating it. You will get knocked over by a dog like that, no matter how big you are.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared or anything like that, but I'm not having my dog killed by this other one. So yeah, it was a bit of a scary moment this week, and that happened on Saturday. So yeah, it was a really horrible. I just thinking that there's a lot of young people, young families on the street that have kids that are like 10 or 11 that walk their dog. And if this happened to them, I just don't want to think about what would happen, you know?
No, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So,
like,
yeah, awful, really awful. So, yeah. And if that had happened to my wife, and I was, Vicky was concerned for me, I don't know what I would have done. I'd have called the police or something, because she can't control this dog. She doesn't train it. Doesn't train it properly.
Oh my God.
And if you're listening, you know who you are. You do not train your dog properly. Go and take it to some classes. So it's just, I'm not saying the wrong dog, but really irresponsible owner. And that's what ruins pets for everyone. You know, this bad image.
I agree.
Bad images of certain dogs, you know. So
battle over here last year. Tommy Chang, who's a friend of mine, a huge stunt guy and a martial arts guy in the industry. He has a it's not a pit bull, it's a American bully, which is not a pit bull. But like it got picked up off the streets by animal control and accused of being a pit bull, and then like held it and wanted to like do stuff to it, and there was this whole fight to get him back to the family. And like within this battle was people fighting to basically get the ban on pit bulls removed too, because people are like, it's not the breed, it's not the animal, it's the owners. Now you wanna blame the type of animals because the type of owners who like these animals are jerks. You know what I mean? Like that's not fair. You can't do that, because there are a lot of people who own pit bulls who are good people and train their pit bulls well. Anyway, so there was this whole mess last year, and thank God a lot of positivity, a lot of positive developments came out of it. But I always believe when it comes to animals, the owners and their relationship with their animals and how they teach their animals to behave around other people.
Absolutely.
And, basically the animal's reflective of their owner.
Yeah.
It's never really the animal's fault.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I'm sure, I really hope my neighbor will grow from this, because it's we've got a really good, I don't know what your neighbors are like on your street, but we've got a really good kind of neighborhood here. It's very, it's like the Burbs without the comedy. It feels like the Burbs, in terms of, it's not like people are being nosy, but people are all kind of looking out for each other, which is really nice to have.
My neighbors, we don't talk too much with each other, but I mean, there's the friendly hellos, the, oh my God, are you shoveling this much snow as well? Yes. Oh man. And
yeah, but not the way you do it.
But yeah, but if there's a crisis, and one time there was a little girl who was lost, and cops were called, and we tried to, and she didn't speak English, so we called out all the Asian people on the street to try to talk to her in different languages to try to find her home.
Oh, wow.
So unfortunately, she wasn't a Cantonese speaker, so I couldn't communicate. So we had to find other Asians to help her get home.
Oh, wow.
Did
you find her?
That they got was Mandarin, and he couldn't talk to her either. So obviously a different East Asian.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating. Yeah. That's really fascinating.
I want to do an unboxing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I found this. Takis.
Hey.
I've never seen these in my neck of the woods. It's Takis Fuego. Are these chips? They don't.
Oh yeah, they curl the chip. They curl the chip.
It's a curled.
It looks like from Mexico?
It looks like a joint.
Yeah, it looks like a joint.
Cover. Yeah. It looks like I'm about to smoke marijuana, a chili covered marijuana. Anyways, it says here hot chili, pepper, and lime flavor. And
okay,
again, it's Fuego.
One comment before you open them is that the flavor level, in terms of like how much flavor is injected or coated in that, it's really intense.
So I'm a spice wimp. This is a horror podcast called Hellbound. So fire, hell, hot. Let's see how I survive a taki. Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna be dangerous. I'm gonna take two.
I'm gonna see how pink your face gets.
And I'm turning my microphone closer so you get the ASMR of it. I have my son in my arms. I hope he doesn't wake up. Okay. Kind of tastes like a Dorito. I'm surviving so far. I'm going to put the rest in my mouth. Nothing yet. Come on. Where's the kick? Another one. That's 3. One, Alex.
It might be a particular one. It might be a particular version. Does that have like a chili count on it?
Oh, this is disappointing.
I'm going to check the picture.
I'm expected to... Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You're building.
Oh, no. I'm overconfident. Oh, it's... Oh. Oh, my.
Nice delay on that.
Yep, it's a delayed heat. Oh, man. I should not have had 4. Oh. 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 I have water. Oh. Oh. No. No.
Do you want some of my mojito tea?
Oh, why was I overconfident? Ah. Oh. I'm sorry, babe. Don't wake up. Oh. Do you want to recommend anything before I recommend something to watch?
Yeah, something you've already mentioned. I think I'd started watching it by the time the last episode we recorded. But all of Us Are Dead. I kind of see what you're talking about in terms of 1 or 2 episodes too long. But I think they're actually. I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it.
No.
Yeah. How do I describe where I am at without spoiling it for people? Past the music room.
Okay. Okay. I know where you are.
But yeah, I am absolutely loving it. Well, we are. Sorry, myself and Vicky, my wife, are absolutely loving it. And I've got to say, the performers in that show, the physicality of that show, and I just take my hat off to all the actors, all the makeup artists, the stunt performers. They're absolutely stunning in that show. I'd recommend everyone that has a Netflix account, really recommend All of Us Are Dead.
And if you've already seen All of Us Are Dead, or now it's hurting my stomach. I'm gonna need to go to the toilet at some point.
You're gonna be
my bum hole. My bum hole is not gonna like this.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so on Netflix as well, my wife Jessica and I have started watching The Silent Sea, yet another South Korean horror show. It stars the really handsome dude from the subway station from Squid Game, who is also one of the stars in Train to Busan. Oh. And also the nurse lady from the South Korean zombie show Kingdom. Now, the show centers around scientists who are sent to a lunar station where people had died years ago to retrieve samples of something. And then everything goes wrong. Now, Jess and I, of this 8-episode series, we already watched 5 episodes. And oh my God, the performances are stellar. This writing is perfect. You have this incredible claustrophobic feeling the entire time. They make the station look vast and huge, yet you feel trapped in its vastness. There are camera angles and shots that make you feel uneasy. You never once feel at ease when watching this show. And that is an accomplishment. And the pacing, when you look back on it, is actually kind of slow. But you never feel that way because you're so on edge that it feels like everything's going quickly when it's not. but things do progress. Each episode moves the story forward at the right increment, I believe, so far. And the answers that are popping up they make sense. They're not like nonsensical bull crap. And every single episode, we just want to watch more. We want to binge this. And, with 2 kids and sickness in the family right now, some stupid virus going around Ontario that's not COVID. It's hard, but we want to binge it so bad. I highly recommend you start this show if you want something new and something, tense to watch. Lots of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. It does look good. From I thought I recognized the actor. I'm not sure what his name is, but he is terrific in as the subway guy in Squid Game. Yeah, that looks fantastic. I've been watching. I've been binging. When Vic goes to bed a little earlier than I'm watching a 60s show called The Invaders. I think I may have mentioned it before, but a guy tries to take a shortcut home. He's an architect. He's on this huge trip across America. He falls asleep in his car in this diner car park in the middle of nowhere. And when he wakes in the middle of the night, like an hour later, he sees an alien spacecraft landing, and it's the beginning of an invasion of Earth. And no one believes him. It's written by the same guy. I think it's Quinn Martin who created The Fugitive, the original series that the movie's based on. And it's all about this guy and no one believing him and investigating it and trying to convince the government, the police, anyone that comes across these people. And they've got slight deformities, so their human form isn't quite perfect. So he spots them, and it has its own law. And when one of them dies, say you kind of shoot one of them, then it basically just burns, just disappears, and leaves a patch like a scorch mark on the ground. So there's no evidence of them existing when they die. So it's him trying to gather evidence. And there was an episode where it really is horror. That's why I wanted to highlight it this week, where they're trying to develop a version where you can actually feel a heartbeat and blood pressure within each alien, because that's what they don't have. You can tell they're not human as well by this deformity, their little finger, and they don't have a pulse and they don't have a heartbeat. And through this, you see the original form of the aliens the first time in a season and a half, and there's loads of episodes. So in the second season, which is 22 episodes, halfway through, there's this episode where it's all like bathed in broken light, showing this kind of deformed monster, but it's not a monster. It's actually the alien's original form that's reverting back. And it's the first time. And I remember watching this show like 15, 20 years ago on repeat on BBC Two in the UK. And it was really fascinating to see what the alien's form was. It was kind of, it's like is it the race in Star Trek called, they have the phage, that disease called the phage?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, they looked like that. They looked like they were like lepers, but that's the race.
Oh my god!
Race. So yeah, great episode of that show. That's called The Invaders, and then they brought the actor back for, I think it was one of the second to last seasons of the X-Files, and I swear he's wearing the same suit he wore in the first season of that show in the X-Files. So it's a bit, I'll have to check that back. But yeah, that's a great show, The Invaders. So that's what I've been watching recently. Sadly, this real horror that's happened this week when we record, and that's the invasion of the Ukraine by Russia. So we stand with Ukraine. We want, we do. Everyone needs to be treated equally. It leaves the country, so please look after each other in the Ukraine. And I wish we could do more in the UK, because there's a lot of self-serving countries and people just look after themselves. So I know there is support, but it's slow in happening, and it's insane. The whole situation is insane.
It is.
I've got a couple of friends that are fleeing Ukraine at the moment, and thankfully they came over to the UK. And I've got friends in Poland that are supporting people from the Ukraine. So seek help where you can, and I hope you stay safe when we get past this situation and things change for the right reason, because it's absolutely disgusting what's happening. And there's hopefully it never gets to the worst case scenario, because then we just will cease to exist as a race, as a population on this planet. I just wanted to highlight that because it's something I
I'm
strongly.
going to say two things about it.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, to those of you who are using TikTok to spread misinformation about the situation in Ukraine, especially those of you who are using video game footage and passing it off as real, shame on you. This is a real life crisis. You should not be using it to get likes, to get views, to get followers. You should not be using it to spread lies. What we need is the truth, and that's it. So what you're doing is disservice to humanity. Shame on you. Secondly, to the truckers and those stupid little freedom convoys in Canada and in the States, I highly suggest you take your trucks, drive it over to Ukraine. Maybe you can stop the advance of the Russian army, because that'll do a lot more than what you're doing over here. Thanks.
Yeah, that's well put, Michael.
The last thing I want to do, I want to end on a nice little note, end this episode on a nice note. I want to give a shout out to a band from Toronto, I found out, called Blood Opera.
Okay.
A while back, I was just looking up on Google, like, creepy, upbeat music, and I found this amazing band that does rock and roll, but like horror rock and roll. And they dress up as like zombie monsters when they perform. And they just have like this amazing vibe. Their music is fantastic. It is on Spotify if you want to check them out. But yeah, go check out like their Instagram, which is at Blood Opera Inc. BLOODOPERAINC. You know, they're so good. They're horror fans, and man, I had no idea they were from Toronto until my bestie Tisha Shaw went to see it. Went to see their concert, I mean, and I was like, wait, what? You know? So they are phenomenal. Their music is great. They have amazing merch on their website that I've been eyeing for a while now. Really tempted to get their EP and the cassette, like the cassette tape box with stickers, but we'll see. We'll see if I end up buying anything. But I just want to give them a shout out because I found out they're from Toronto, and I'm from Toronto, and it's you know, I really want to support local artists. So check out Blood Opera. Amazing music, amazing costumes, amazing performers.
Oh my god, their artwork is amazing.
Right?
Yeah, that's
right.
So creepy. That's great.
Check them out. You will not regret it.
That is a great. Oh, one last thing before we really end. Can you tell the audience what that sound is? That repetitive sound
that you've been hearing throughout the entire episode. Yeah. The little tapping. The tapping is me patting my newborn son's back to make sure he stays asleep, so he doesn't wake up and start screaming.
That's great. That's great.
So awesome. I apologize for those of you who get annoyed by repetitive sounds.
We're keeping all of it in.
Oh no, I want you to keep it in, but there are some people are gonna be like, is that like an audio problem? No. It's called the dad life, guys.
Yeah.
The dad you already know this. I have way too many horror stories about poop, diapers, pee.
It's gonna go down this Chuck Tingler thing again, isn't it?
No. I'm just gonna say I opened my son's diaper the other day. And, like, he had already pooed. Of course, I opened the diaper, and he starts pooing again. And it's, like, this long poo. And it's, you know, baby poo is yellow. So, eventually he stops. I'm like, oh, okay. And I put a new diaper on. Before I could close it, boom, he starts again. But this time it's lime green. Because sometimes he's on formula, and I don't know, whatever. And then there's, like, issues with his latch, so... There's something to do with like taking too much fore milk instead of hind milk, whatever. Anyway, so then it turned lime green. I freaked out, so I had to like wait for the lime green poo to finish, and then I had to like Google it. Yes, turn yellow again eventually. Yeah, that's my life, guys. So follow us on Instagram at the Hellbound Podcast, and Yes, if you have any horror cosplays, horror makeup, horror anything you want to have featured on our social media, please send us a private message on Instagram. Again, that's at the Hellbound Podcast. Harness to darkness. I will stop talking about poop now.